I don't know if this is a conversation that I'm having with y'all or if it's a conversation that I'm having for my own mental health, but since I've been out of prison, the world presents a different set of challenges for a person who's lived his whole life aspiring to be a career criminal. And then I sat in prison and I decided to change my life, and I decided to create an organization that could help at-risk youth not make the decisions that I made due to ignorance and negative influences and lack of home training. I've been in 3 relationships since I've been out of prison, and I've walked away from every one of them a little bit more broken. I gave blood, sweat, and tears to a job that treated me so bad that the federal government has pressed charges against them. And for about 2 years, I've been in a relationship doing everything I can to be what I feel like a man is supposed to be. I paid the mortgage in a house that wasn't mine. I paid for trips, vacations, wardrobes. Even bought a new car because this woman wanted to DoorDash a lot. And I guess what I'm going through is my own fault because I ignored so many red flags because, I tried to love someone. I am who I am now because someone really loved me and I lost them. And I sat in prison and I regretted everything that I did to them. And I started trying to learn to be a person that was worthy of being loved like that again. And I've tolerated so much disrespect. I've ignored so many lies. I've had the police called on me because I was angry because I couldn't get someone else to take accountability for their crap. And this person knew that every time they called the police, there's a chance I could go to prison just for interacting with the police. But that didn't matter to them when they weren't getting their way. There were some comforts. There were some conveniences. And coming from a person who never really had much unless I was selling drugs, I thought, maybe this is what real life is. It's a struggle. You got to go through things, you have to be patient with people because I'm only a better person because somebody did that to me. I moved out pretty much by force because I was disrespected so badly. I lost my temper, and she called the cops, claimed she was scared, and got a protective order. And I walked into a convenience store this morning with people who know her, and I might get banned from the store. She's been telling these people all of these things to make herself feel like a victim. And I'm just like, I can't really be mad at her because she is who she is. She's been who she is. I just kept trying to love her and being stubborn because I thought it would help. But the truth is I was a fucking idiot, because people are only going to change when they want to change. I'm standing here this morning trying to figure out how to put myself back together in my own head. This hurts. You know, for a while I was tempted to just move on and, you know, jump into it with somebody else. But I'm like, you know what? After 3 failed relationships that hurt me pretty badly, I think I'm going to hold off on that. I want to be by myself for a little while. I want to see what I can achieve by myself. See how good of a person I can become by myself, because I don't have the energy to focus on someone else right now. You know, all I want is to be a good person, make a difference. You know, teach children how not to make the mistakes that I made. And the hardest part about this is all the coping mechanisms that I learned before, none of them work. I can't use drugs. I have a Class A CDL. I can't beat people up. And it's very frustrating. It's very hard. Now I understand why the recidivism rate is so high, because the world ain't fair. You know, people can go out and talk all of this trash about you to all of their friends and turn everyone that they know against you. And unfortunately for me, I don't have a social circle of my own. I don't fit in with mainstream society. I think too much. I have bigger ideas. I see through bullshit. I see through lies. And we live in a society where it's best to be fake to get along, so that you can keep a job or fit into social groups that are open doors for you to have things. I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm not comfortable being that person. I'm going to be me, and I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to demand the same respect. And a lot of people feel that they don't have to give you respect for whatever reason, even though they demand it for themselves. None of this, I know I'm kind of rambling on, but I need this right now. And I guess I want the people who do pay attention to me on social media to understand what I'm going through, I guess. And maybe I'm a fool for even wanting people to understand me, because most people won't. Most people play the game. Most people are sheep. They do what's expected of them because they don't know anything else. I know that I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of feeling like a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. But I can't stop doing what I'm doing. I can't stop pushing for the agenda that is my nonprofit, because the world's in bad shape. And no one seems to care as long as they can go to work and have the toys they want and keep paying for them to keep them and keep their status quo because they have this or that. I know that through all of this, though, I'm learning to respect myself. I'm learning what that means to respect myself, because I never had respect for myself or anyone else, and that's what made it so easy for me to tolerate so much bullshit from women, from jobs, I don't know if there's anyone else out there who feels the way I do, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm grateful for the lessons that I'm being taught. I'm grateful that my heart has been molded the way that it has because I genuinely care about people. I'm grateful because I had the self-restraint not to go postal after my job allowed someone to accuse me of touching his penis, found out it was false, and then not punish him. I'm glad that I had the restraint to not really lose it after a woman that I tried to love for 2 years and paid a mortgage for all this time up until I lost my job. Shit got a little crazy then. It was a struggle. But, I could show you my Cash App, and I've given this woman over $18,000 in 2 years. That's not including the cash. That's not including wardrobe. That's not including buying a car. That's not including the gifts. There's gold-plated roses. There's this. I did all of this while trying to build a business, and my business would be a lot farther along. I would be a lot closer to my personal goals if I wasn't focusing on this person. And so I guess I'm grateful that I'm finally learning to focus on me. So a little bit of advice to everybody out there, if you're trying to be with somebody and you love them, and it feels good to love after sitting in prison, after going through all the abuses and all the neglect that I suffered in life because my family was so dysfunctional. When you see red flags, believe them. When people show you who they are, believe it. Don't make excuses for them. Don't believe that you can change them. Don't think that you can help them, because you can't help anybody who doesn't want to help themselves. Some people are comfortable in their crap. And if you don't believe me, try to hold them accountable for anything, big or small, and watch what kind of reaction you get. Watch it get flipped around into focusing on what you did as a reaction to something bad that they did to you. Look at how it's okay for them to do things, but it's not okay for you to do the same things because it's disrespect to them and they're not going to tolerate it. But they have excuses for why they do what they do, and if you love them, you have to accept those excuses. I'm 3 years old when it comes to trying to live life as an upstanding citizen, make honest money, have enough stuff to be happy. I don't want to walk. I don't want to catch the bus. I want to sleep comfortable at night. I want to be able to walk into the kitchen and, make food that I feel like eating, or I want to be able to go out when I feel like going out. All of these things take money, so, you got to earn it. But I'm beginning to learn that at the core of happiness comes a peace of mind. And there are people in this world who won't let you have a peace of mind because they don't have a peace of mind. But they expect you to provide them a peace of mind even though they won't let you have it. And if you are involved with anyone like this at all, just run.